the North Africa region has been active in terms of opportunities and development in the region, but also with regards to ratings. AM Best has more than 50 ratings in the region and has more ratings than other agencies. I'm Yvette Essen for AM Best TV in Dubai at DWIC, and I'm joined by Vasilis Katsipis, General Manager for Market Development for Dubai. Vasilis, why has there been so much ratings activity in this region?
Well, Yvette, this region is not different at the beginning, or at least wasn't different to any other market, in that reinsurers and insurers of commercial risk were looking for a rating. Having said that, this is a market that has much higher ratings penetration than most of the other markets where we are operating. And that is because there is a preponderance of high risks which need rating. So almost every company is involved in writing some commercial risks which actually require a rating in the tender. That, plus the fact that many of the companies see the rating as an external verification of their processes and how well they're doing, or otherwise, means that we have in many markets more than 40% of the insurers being rated.
Can we talk about the market conditions facing these insurers and reinsurers in the region? One thing people have talked about is the slowdown of the market, particularly with the impact of low oil prices. How have low prices impacted companies?
As I said earlier, a lot of the risks are actually to do with commercial risks. And when you have a decline in the oil prices, you have less money being reinvested in the economies. The result of that has been both a decline in the corporate as well as the state-funded project. This has resulted in a slowdown in the economies, which even now when the oil prices actually started climbing up, I will remind you that the oil prices had come down to below 30 and now it's close to 70, but even now the market has not been fully taken up. Having said that, there have been some different changes from the regulators which have helped boost the prices, especially prices for motor business in the UAE and introduction of medical in several of the markets, which have counterbalanced the decline of the oil. But still very challenging conditions for most of the insurers in the market who are focusing more on personal lines because that's what's most available in the market right now.
You mentioned there are challenges there. Can you describe some of the other challenges facing the sector?
Another major challenge is political instability in the region, the fact that there is a dispute between the majority of the GCC and Qatar, the conflicts in Yemen as well as in Syria and Libya. All these are conditions that if you rewound the clock, say 10, 15 years ago, did not exist in the region. And that means that even the markets which are not directly impacted, they are impacted by the regional instability. You have influx of population in the regional countries, which actually result in stresses in the finances of the state. All that impacts the insurance industry either directly or indirectly. And it means that it is a much more challenging condition. Regulators, on the other hand, are starting to focus into regulating the industries, and that makes it more difficult for insurers to continue practices of the past, which would have been focusing on very risky investments and so on. And as I'm talking about investment, that's the final bit I will touch on, which is we are seeing a greater volatility and in many cases decline in both properties and equities, which have been the favorite investments for many shareholders in this part of the world. So many companies feel that they are stuck in the middle, being impacted by the greater macroeconomic conditions, the regulators focusing on them, and the investments actually taking a tumble in terms of values.
So quite a few challenges there, opportunities, so they do surely exist here, don't they?
Absolutely, they exist. If you look at it again macroeconomically, look, these are markets which have very little insurance penetration. So looking at it, there's only one way up, right? Having said that, the insurance penetration needs to take place in tandem with a change in the population attitudes. And that takes much longer time. So yes, there are opportunities. There's also some risks which are underinsured, and that is because there is little awareness about the importance of insurance in the markets. So still tremendous opportunities for growth for the medium to long term in these markets.
Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
For AM Beth TV at Dewick, I'm Yvette Essen.